Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to your seats.
Showtime!
Please make your way to your seats. The show is about to begin.
Showtime!
Let the magic begin.
We're going to talk about today's tech. There's a lot going on in tech right now, and we discussed this briefly, but I threw a couple of things in because it's been a busy week. Adobe has responded to their terms of service update where they said they can review it for content moderation, which means they can remove it if they want to or whatnot. They can manually review it, humans. They can publish it or give it away for free. They can sell it to third parties, sublicense it. They can and will use it to train their eye, and you can't fully opt out of it. So that was as of I'm going to say about a week ago, June 6th, according to this, maybe June 5th.
Yeah.
And then they responded. And they kind of responded Adobe's responded by, they did a blog post. They changed some of the terms from they will moderate your content and look at your content to they may.
Yeah.
So they changed a few of these things. And then they basically said, trust us, bro. We're not going to do this.
Yeah.
You know? And everyone's like, well, why'd you put it in terms of service if you're not going to do it? Like, let's be honest about it. And so the internet went nuts. We posted a little bit about it. There's this list here I've got posted about all since Adobe updated their terms of service. There's these graphics and whatever, all the different competitors that you can pick over them to subscribe to something else.
Yeah.
These are going around. Canva struck out and saying, hey, we bought Affinity, etc., and our 3 Affinity products are now 50% off, and they're one-time purchase, not licensing, so come get them. So everybody is taking advantage of this particular situation.
Super smart. I would.
Yeah, and why not, right? And so here's where we find ourselves today, where they've changed these services, they've changed these updates, and now they're saying, okay, we've heard you, we're going to respond. Just give us a few days. So people are canceling left and right. People make these changes and they start canceling their Creative Cloud subscriptions, and then people go nuts. Like the company's like, oh crap. Like things like you can't even uninstall Photoshop unless you agree to these terms.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You can't even remove it.
Yeah.
So I don't like this, I'm getting rid of it. Oh no, you have to agree to our terms of service to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Well, so I can't use it and I can't get rid of it.
It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So, and the longer they take, the more they're gonna, the more. I think this is the end of Adobe's kind of, regardless of what they do. I think this is going to be the end, because there's a lot of good competitors out there that offer very similar type of products. Obviously, probably not as advanced, but to me, I think there's only a select few that are very, very advanced that use their super advanced that wouldn't find an alternative solution out there. I think this is a great opportunity for people to get out there and try other things. So,
agree.
And the other thing too about Adobe is you can't sue them. That's something that they're not even talking about. Like, you can't sue them, you can't bring a class action lawsuit. So the FTC is investigating them now.
Yeah. They're in big trouble over this, and we'll see. These companies can bounce back pretty quick, so we'll see. But they really made a big splash.
I hope they don't. I hope Adobe doesn't with what they're doing. I'm sorry. They want to do something like that. That's messed up.
Well, we need to respond when companies start doing this stuff to us. We need to say that it's not acceptable. There's alternatives out there, and we got to start exploring some of them.
For sure.
And speaking of, alternatives and whatnot, we talked about Microsoft their recall, I think about 2 weeks ago, and how it was encrypted. It's this and this. They take screenshots every 3 seconds. They record everything you do. They record, whatever websites. If you're viewing someone else's website, or you're an IT person and you're looking at someone else's data or whatever, they're taking snapshots of all of it. Then they said, oh, it's only for you, don't worry about it, and it's completely unhackable. Then a few days later, it was hacked. And this is ridiculous. And Microsoft, said this was going to be on by default and you couldn't turn it off. And now they've reversed course saying, oh, okay, we're going to make it opt-in only after this is a security. Like, this is a security nightmare for people. I know people who do desktop support and remote support and all this kind of stuff, IT support. They're like, okay, I can't use Windows machines anymore to support my clients because, I don't have the right to record the information that's on my screen. Like, it can't, this is a security breach and people aren't going to put up with it.
Yeah. And being Microsoft, like, how do you not test this for vulnerabilities before you release it? Like, that's nuts. It baffles me that they've got all this money, they're doing all this R&D, yet they don't test it properly. Like, I remember back in the day, right, when Windows 3.1 came out and different things like that. Obviously, there weren't wasn't the internet and things like that, but you couldn't release something with as many bugs as they do now. Now it's just like pumping out, and they'll patch bugs and they'll fix bugs later, and it's crazy. There's not the proper testing that's happening.
Yeah, and they're doing all these things to train their AI, and they don't give too much about your concerns as a consumer.
No,
I was going to say, don't give two craps.
They don't.
Don't
two craps.
And so it's like, oh, we're going to record everything that everyone does and then train our AI on it, and we'll be way better off. And Adobe's like, well, we're going to have automated systems go through everything that's done in Creative Cloud, all your Adobe PDFs, everything you get signed, all your graphics, all the stuff you do. And we're going to train our AI on it. Great. This is all nuts.
Yeah.
Well, but at least they've decided to make it opt-in only.
Yeah. But it speaks to a larger problem, right? And this is that we do not have enough data to train AIs going forward. And this is their patchwork or their makeshift solutions to try to get more data to train their AIs better, right?
Yeah. And they don't care about their customers in order to get there. This is the rush to AI. It was a few years ago, was a rush to blockchain. Everybody had the blockchain everything, or they were going to be left behind. That's kind of gone by the wayside, and there's actual practical uses for blockchain that people are using rather than just putting blockchain instead of database somewhere. Similar to AI, right? And they have to start thinking about their consumer, because consumers are walking away. You see that all over the industry. People, they're just walking away. You start doing this stuff that we don't like, whether it's you hate Republicans or you hate Democrats, or you are going to steal my data, or you're going to do this or you do that. People are walking away from this stuff. Like, why are you doing any of it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's just and the thing is these companies aren't learning. Like, they think they're gonna pull the wool over our eyes and get away with stuff, and no, not anymore. So
on to the next thing this week. WWDC, and I started looking around at everything, and I saw all these articles about, this was the best WWDC ever, the most features. This is the best. It's boring. This is boring. They announced a bunch of feature that's been on Android since 2005. The most exciting thing is the customizable bits, and now you can create new emojis.
I laugh
emojis
so hard when they're like, look what you can do now. You can move an app anywhere you want on your screen. I'm like, yeah, we could do that in 2005 with Android. I laugh so hard that they emphasize that.
And everyone like you're pitching 10-year-old stuff to people, 20-year-old stuff to people,
almost 20-year-old stuff.
Yeah, and everyone's lapping it up saying, "Oh, this is the greatest stuff ever. Oh, this is amazing." I'm like, "Really? Because this is some basic functionality. Oh, we can finally change those 2 buttons on that lock screen, whether it's a flashlight and the camera or
Yeah.
not."
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
it's nuts. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll have to tell them this. The one cool thing that I liked that they announced was that, and this makes me think about possibly getting an iPhone, but I doubt I'll ever do that. That you can mirror your phone on your Mac, which
Yeah, I that is cool. It's cool from, screen display, screen recording, doing all sorts of stuff like that, and I guess it's cool from a basic functionality, but do you really think that people would be using that too much?
well, for apps that are specific to iPhone or to the phone itself, instead of having to interact with it and type using the touchscreen, you could type using your keyboard and different things like that. If it's an iPhone instead of an iPad, it's just like I'm old school. I prefer browsing the internet on my laptop than on my phone. So just something cool.
Yeah,
I thought that was interesting.
I guess so. I guess I'd just say that they've had for a while now, where you can run your iPad apps on your Mac. So,
Yeah,
I did just felt that was more of a if I'm gonna do anything, it'd be that versus the iPhone. But I imagine some people would like you can answer calls and do stuff with it when it's across the room and stuff. So that's kind of nice.
yeah,
Um, the problem is with Apple, it's like everything else. AirDrop is great when it works,
yeah,
but when the 2 devices can't see each other, good luck.
yeah. Yeah.
um,
The other thing I laughed about was they're like, now you have a calculator on your phone. I'm
oh
like,
geez. No,
oh
on
my
your
God,
iPad. Yeah, I
seriously?
had calculator phone before. It's like the
Yeah,
best thing at WWDC
yeah.
was the iPad calculator.
Oh, now
Oh,
I'll give
really?
them
Now
this.
you can write
The
equations and it'll
equation.
figure out. You know what? I had a 99-cent app to do that for me 20 years ago, or
Yeah,
not 20 years ago. Sorry, when the first iPads came out.
yeah, yeah. It's just so I'll give them this. They should have focused more on the fact that the calculator app could do that as opposed to a calculator app itself. Because it just makes it a joke that way.
Well, I think they were making fun of themselves because everyone's like, everyone has to go and download a third-party calculator app if they wanted to, or use a spreadsheet or something like that.
Yeah,
And then, what do? They announced Apple Intelligence. So first of all, they've branded capital A, little I. So
yeah,
good luck you using that anywhere else now. It's a
yeah,
trademark for Apple. And what have they done? They've just connected the back end to OpenAI and said, look how great we are.
yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, what they did was, um, where I was looking it up earlier. I can't remember where it was, but they have some sort of agreement where no one's really going to make much money between OpenAI and Apple right now. It's more of a distribution kind of thing. But yeah, like so it just goes to show how crappy Siri is because they needed to partner with a third party to bring AI because their Siri is absolute garbage. And it's been garbage for I don't know how many years.
So I started watching some of their artificial intelligence sessions, but I only got about halfway through one where they're talking about machine learning and using their neural core stuff. I'd be interested in seeing what more digging down, what they're going to allow developers and stuff to do with it.
Yeah.
And how we can train whatever type of AI is on and use these new neural net processing on the new chips that are coming. That is interesting.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk has come out and said, hey, with your huge privacy issues with OpenAI, if you continue with this, I'm going to ban all Apple devices from Twitter, from X.
From all of his companies. Yeah.
From his companies. Yeah, I guess they're not going to use the Apple device in the company. When you read it, it's like, yeah.
And if you go visit them, you have to give up your device. So if you're a visitor going to visit the company, you're gonna have to put your device leave it at the front desk if it's an Apple device.
And Apple's approach to security by saying, hey, don't worry about security because everything's on device except when it's not. And we're going out to open API. So how much of your stuff is private? so many enterprises have already banned OpenAI in their company because if you start putting documents in there to get it to fix it, those documents start appearing in other people's searches because OpenAI is a very public database.
Yeah.
And, we've seen patent applications and all this stuff leak with people pulling this. So, how secure is this, and how, is it going to be hacked again like Microsoft's? At least I like that they're trying to be on device, but they're not really. So
no. But yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of LLMs, Claude Anthropic's Claude is now available in Canada for those that are interested who don't use Poe.com or something like that. It is my favorite LLM, by the way. So that's just a side note.
Claude, I haven't tried that yet, so I'm gonna have to.
You have to, please do. It'll be a world of difference. But
also this week, Elon made likes private on Twitter or on X, and they're
so you know more about this than I do. I saw this. I didn't do a deep dive. Can you explain, because you were talking about the impressions and things like that? Are you still able to track impressions or likes?
As the individual, like if I make a post and you like it, I can see how many likes and I can see that you liked it, but no one else can see that you liked it.
Oh, okay.
So, all those people getting in trouble for liking someone's tweets and whatnot, that ends. If people go through your Twitter profile and you like some comedian that did a skit back in whatever, and now it's offensive and you're not going to get a job because of that, that's gone.
That's
like retweets and everything. So like also they're allowing porn and stuff, so I think that's another part of it. So you can like those things.
Call it corn so that we don't get flagged. Prawn or corn. And
there's been a massive there's been a massive increase, according to Elon, in likes after they were made private. So I guess, this is also part of the political sensitive stuff. No one wants to agree with something that maybe their coworkers or someone else will call them out for on the internet, but now they can.
Yeah. This is I can see the move to it. I know that Instagram sometimes won't show the number of likes. They'll just show that it says liked by this person and others. So that's been around for a while. I'm not too surprised about this. It's great.
Yeah, but that's for you. So Instagram did that from a mental health perspective. So you're not seeing all the likes and stuff. But if I like your stuff, my followers see that.
Okay. Yeah.
This is the difference between now liking something on Twitter. Your followers aren't going to see that you liked it. So you're going to have to retweet or repost or whatever. So that's just kind of the concept difference here. So we'll have to see how this goes. And according to, like I said, Elon, there's been a huge increase in likes after they were made private. So
well,
we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. So
I got one other thing to talk about. I thought there was something else.
There is. There's that Ontario government thing.
Yeah, I've got it here. But I thought there was something else. That's why I'm.
Sorry.
You had posted this on LinkedIn whenever. And many people probably don't know this, but I used to mentor for the Starter Company program in Toronto several years ago. And it's a great program. So the Ontario has expanded support for the Starter Company Plus, a program for aspiring entrepreneurs. And basically they'll give you up to, they give you access to workshops, seminars, networking events, and grants up to $5,000 to help start your business. And you don't, entrepreneurs 18 age and up get this support. So it's a program, it's training, you get mentorship, and you get $35,000 to $5,000 depending on the specific program you're in. And you don't need to. They usually prefer that you're not very far along. So if you just got an idea and you want to do this, start looking for the Starter Company program or Starter Company Plus program in your region. So if you're in Toronto, just do Starter Company Toronto. If you're in Mississauga, same thing, Vaughan. You'll find the one local to you. And the new investments will increase the funding to 6.5 million a year, and they're trying to increase jobs here. So there's more and more money for this. So go out and get it if you're just starting out.
I'm definitely applying for this with my startup. So
anything else?
No, I just it's interesting to see. I like that they're doing micro grants. I like that it's up to 5,000. There's some that like it, originally there was one that I was reading. It's like $1,500. Like $1,500 doesn't go far these days, right? But now that up to 5,000, that can, if you're, and I hate to say this, but if you're using overseas developers that are cheap, you could probably get to an MVP with 5,000 if you're doing it right. Potentially.
Yeah, you can do a lot with 5,000 if you're just starting out, to validate your idea, to do a lot of stuff, to prototype something, to it depends, but you got to use your money creatively and whatnot. But yeah, I think this is a good program. A lot of those $1,500 programs are usually related to we'll pay you a little bit of money while you're taking the course to cover off any wages you may lose.
Yeah.
And it's usually not a lot. Like Antler's got a 3-month program, and they expect you to be full-time in the program, and it's a free program. You apply for it, and they pay you while you're in the program. It's not a lot, but and at the end, there's a number of them that they fund for 250,000 plus or whatever, depending on
what I like about this is that they're not just giving you a micro grant, they're offering you services and things like that, which I think is very key in order for a startup to be successful. Like we're in one of my companies, we're part of H2I at U of T, and they don't give you any money, but the support that they give you is great. And I hope that is the same case for this, which you would know. Being a mentor.
Well, it's hit and miss, right? Like, because it's every city has different mentors. Every when I went, there was people teaching the classroom work, and that was fine, and they were very rigid in their course material, which needed to be covered. And I'm not going to say anything negative about them, but there's a lot, like when you talk about entrepreneurship and running your own business, there's a lot of ancillary skills and abilities you need to understand.
Yeah.
Like, so we'd come in and do mentorship around those things, around idea validation, around social media management and getting your brand out there, branding, a whole bunch of other things related to, but not, in the program, they're teaching you the accounting and this and that and all the specific stuff, which is great. So you get assigned long-term mentor. So it really depends on the region. There's a lot of good stuff there, and you get mentors that you can take advantage of. I'd suggest taking advantage of it. And if you're not happy with the mentors you are, just switch around, just ask for another one. I'm looking for this kind of this, because you'll find some matches, and the more people there to give you advice when you're starting out, the better. And then come join stuff like TorontoStarts, our startup drinks, or our workshops and events. And we'll point you in the right direction. There's so many other programs. Talk to John, because there's all, I just talked, I was on a BNI meeting this week and talked to North Star Startups. And they're really into people with just an idea, usually with low income, who are starting businesses and whatnot. And, we're going to start pushing them in the direction of these things, because make them aware and spread the word. There's so many communities and institutions out there to help entrepreneurs in Canada. You should be taking advantage and getting the support you need. I like to say entrepreneurship is not a solo sport. So find your tribe, find your team, get your support that you need. And, it's emotionally and mentally challenging. There's more depression and anxiety in the entrepreneurship space than any other. And having people around you that are in the same space and community understand means more than you can know. So definitely take advantage of those things.
And don't expect to become a millionaire overnight. I think there was something I was reading where most founders are making less than minimum wage. So
most founders don't pay themselves for a long time. This becomes an issue, but what do you got going on, John?
Yeah, so well, for those of you listening, next week is Collision. Still don't know if I'm going yet, but I think there's a couple things. So the big one that I'm excited about, that is huge event, super pumped. Lots of people are going to go. Is Startup Drinks TO on Thursday, on June 20th. That's going to be great. Go ahead and talk about it a little more, Craig.
Over 300 tickets are gone already. It's a collision after party, and people don't necessarily know this, and maybe I should have did this in our news segment, but this not only is the last year for Collision in Toronto, it's the last year for Collision, period.
Yeah.
So they're rebranding to Web Summit, I guess, and it's going to be in Vancouver. So that's a whole. I'd like to do that. I think they used to run Web Summit and this one. So are they merging them together? I got to do a little work on that.
Web Summits all over the world. So this makes sense, I guess, yeah.
And so they're just rebranding it to align that, Web Summit Barcelona and now Vancouver, or so they'll have multiple Web Summits every year, or we'll see. But the point being is, if you're in Toronto, get your ticket to Collision now. Here's the inside tip for people. I've told everyone who asked me this: if you're still looking for tickets and don't want to pay the price, search on LinkedIn, search on Twitter for Collision, Collision Conf, Collision HQ, whatever tag they're using now, and Alpha or Beta, and you'll get all these people saying, I was accepted in the Alpha program, I was accepted in the Beta program, and with those passes, they get 4 tickets. Yeah. And instead of paying $1,000 plus, you can probably reach out. A lot of those only have 1 or 2 people going, and they'll be happy to take $100 for one of those tickets. So reach out, get them if you can. It's the last time in Toronto, so their last chance to go. There's over 50,000 people coming to the city for this. If you can't make it or can't do that, join us at the Collision After Party. You can just buy a quick ticket. It's our largest event of the year. We'll have more investors, more founders, more people from out of town. So if you want to get in front of business owners, it's a great time to do it.
Great time. Yeah.
And you mentioned another event coming up, I think at the beginning. So we are ending Collision, but Tech TO, I think, has a kickoff kind of party.
Well, they're doing their summer social. They do this, I think, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. It's great. It's this year it's at the Slip and the Queen's Quay. It's on Monday from 6 to 9. It's going to be great. Lots of people attend this. There's networking and mingling and speakers, community open mic. It's a great event. It's a different venue than they normally have it. It's outside. It's going to be, depending on weather, it should be good. So.
Yeah, sounds fantastic. So if you're going, it's going to be crazy week. We've got the summer social, Tech TO. We got Collision all week. We got events happening. We got the Collision After Party on June 20th. Go to startupdrinksto.com. And anything else you want to add before we sign off today, John?
No. Great talk today. That's for sure.
Yeah, and if you're going to be at Collision, if you see me there, I'll be wearing a red shirt. Come talk to me. I'll be interviewing startups, investors, and anybody who's doing anything cool in tech. I'll be in the media lounge and other areas, depending on, and walk in the startup areas. So depending if you're a speaker, I'll try and catch you in the media lounge. But if you're a regular startup, I'll catch you in the other places. So we'll see you then, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much, Craig.
Thanks, everyone.